Okay, so we are on the second part of 9.5 day 3 now. And so now we're going to be dealing with a is greater than 1. So there's going to be a value in the front. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is change this. So I'm going to be using a different one. We are going to use y equals 4x squared minus 8x plus 1. So ignore the one that's on the notes and we're going to use this one. So first we're going to go ahead and write it in the correct form by getting rid of the y first. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and move the 1 over for now. And so now we have -1 equals 4x squared minus 8x, and this is where we normally would start doing the b divided by 2 squared. However, we have one additional step that we have to do first, and that is going to be we need to take the greatest common factor of these two terms on the right side. So we're going to take this -1 and just drop it down, and then we're going to take the greatest term common factor from 4 and 8, which is 4. And we're going to be left with x squared minus 2x. And then I'm going to leave a little bit of a blank spot for that b divided by 2 squared there. Okay, so now we're looking at b divided by 2. In this case, we have -2 divided by 2, and then square it. So that's going to give us -1 squared, which is going to give us a +1. So right here, we would normally write +1. However, jumping ahead, take that 1 and write +1 like we normally would. On the other side, right here where we would normally write +1, we have this 4 on the outside that we have to factor in on this side. So we need to do 4 times whatever we added, which in this case is 1. So 4 times 1. So we're actually adding 4 on this side. So we need to add 4 on this side. And then we're back to just doing what we did above. So 4 minus 1 gives us 3. And then factored form of the parentheses would be x minus 1 squared. And then we need to move the 3 on the other side. So now we're at 0 equals 4 times x minus 1 squared minus 3. So our vertex form would be x minus 1 squared minus 3 right here. And then that's it. So I'm going to go back really quick to this step right here. Again, we added the 1 to that side, but to the other side, we had to factor in the 4 timesing that 1 to get that 4 here. Okay. If you have any questions on this, please email Ms. Holstead and I. Moving on, go ahead and pause the video and try these two. I went ahead and stopped right here just to talk about it one more time to show you another way if you're needing some more explanation. So minus the 8 on both sides, and then we have 2x squared minus 4x equals -8. Factor out the 2, and then b divided by 2 squared is 1, so adding 1 here, and then on this side you're doing the 2 times the 1 inside there. So up here we were doing the 4 times 1 right here. Okay. So then go ahead and pause the video, back up if you need to redo it or finish it, and then check back in when you're ready. So finishing up that one, we get 2 times x minus 1 squared on the factoring side, and then on this side we did -8 plus 2, which is -6. add 6 to both sides, and then rewrite. And that's that one. And then here on this one, we are going to start by adding 13. Whoop. Adding 13 to both sides. And remember, we're just saying that's a 0. So now we have 13 equals negative 3x squared minus 12x. And then we are going to go ahead and now take out the greatest common factor here and just bring down this 13. If you have a negative in front, pull out that negative as well. We want just a positive 1 left when we're done. So we're going to pull out a negative 3, and that leaves us with x squared and then plus 4x. And then again, we're leaving that space there. Okay, and then we are doing the b divided by 2 squared. So b is 4 divided by 2 is going to give us 2, square that, and we're going to do 4. So we're adding 4 here, and on this side we are adding negative 3 times 4. So again, negative 3 times 4 is what we are adding to that. So on this side we're doing negative 12 plus 13. So that's going to give us a positive 1 left. And on this side, negative 3, and then factored form would be x plus 2 squared. And then go ahead and finish it up. So subtract 1 on both sides, and then rewrite. If you have any questions, please email Ms. Holstad or I. The very last one is a story problem, and it's talking about astronauts training for flying in 0 gravity. It gives this graph here, and it gives the formula, and then it asks what is the maximum altitude reached by the plane, and what time does the plane reach its maximum. So if we're looking at this graph here, when we're looking for the maximum, it would be up here. Now our graph doesn't tell us what it is, but we are looking right there, and that is going to be the vertex. It is the midpoint of this upside down U, which is right here. So we're going to be using this, and I'm going to actually show you 2 ways of being able to find that vertex. And they're both, you've seen it before, so just go ahead and keep that in mind. So again, we are looking for the max point, which is the vertex. So in all of these notes, we've been completing the square. So the first method I'm going to show is completing the square. I'm just going to write complete the square CTS. And so we're going to take our formula, negative 5t squared plus 80t plus 9,000, and I'm going to set that equal to 0. And what we were doing up top is we were moving this over, so we're going to do that. And now we have negative 5t squared plus 80t equals negative 9,000. Okay, and then the next step is taking that greatest common factor out, and remember, if we have a negative in front, we are going to pull the negative out. So t squared, 80, pulling out negative 5, so 80 divided by negative 5 gives you negative 16t, and then I'm going to leave a space, equals 9,000. Okay, so now we're doing that b divided by 2, so we have negative 16 divided by 2 squared, so that would be negative 8 squared, which gives us a positive 64. So we are adding 64 here, And on this side, we are adding a negative 5 times 64. Factor it, so negative 5. And then this would be t minus 8 squared. And then this equals negative 9,000 plus negative 320. So that would be negative 9,320. Add to both sides. So we're looking at negative 5 t minus 8 squared plus 9,320 equals 0, or you can say y. So our vertex would be looking here. And so our vertex would be positive 8, remember, because it's opposite of here, and then 9320. So here's our vertex, and that is saying at 8 seconds, the plane reaches its max height of 9,320 meters. Okay. So that's how to find the vertex using complete the square, but we know another way that we've done before, and that would be so option 2 is a little bit of a review from a while ago when we said we could look at a standard formula and we could do x equals negative b over 2a to find the x part of the vertex and then plug that in for the y. So remember our formula is negative 5t squared plus 80t plus 9,000. So b would be 80, so we would have negative 80, divide by 2 times our a, which is negative 5, and then that would be negative 80 divided by negative 10, which would give us our positive 8. So we can see right now that 8 is the same as that, so that's good. And then to find our y, we go ahead and plug that x value back in. And when we do that, we get negative 5 times 8 squared, so negative 5 times 64 would give us our negative 320. And then 80 times, this should be an 8, would give us a 640 plus 9,000 would still get us positive 9,320. And so you can see that it's giving us the same answer right here. If you have any questions, please email Ms. Holstead and I, and we will get back to you, either making a video to show you more examples or just answering your email with like a picture or just an explanation. We are happy to help you in any way we can. Just reach out to us.